Hello Flosstube, welcome back or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. This is Flosstube 67, so I'm going to do my June recap. I have my notes down here on the table, so you may see me looking down there. We will just get started. I have a lot to show you today. I do this once a month, so today's July 1st, 2025, so it's time for my June recap. So I actually have some fully finished objects. I took a class, oh sorry, I forgot to take this one out of the plastic. I took a class at my LNS last weekend, and it was Kathy from Hands On Design and Mr. HOD, Bill was there also. And we made this box, and I forget what she called it, cartonnage maybe, I think. So this was all out of mat board and something else. So we constructed this, covered it. Don't look too closely, mine's not perfect, but it was fun. It was something different that I hadn't done before. And then she gave us some little things to put in it. So a little wool ball with some pins, a needle book made of the same fabric as this, and then a needle minder. So those can all go in our little tray. So cute. That was a challenge. I hadn't done anything like that before, so that was a challenge. And then our class project was this, our stitching project was this. So we had stitched, and I probably showed you these three things already stitched, and we made it into a candy corn. So we sewed them together by hand, and then put some a herringbone stitch over the top of that, just to be decorative. And then I had this beautiful fabric on the back. We did the, you can't even hardly see, where you cut it and then stuff it and then stitch it up, and then we ironed a piece of that same fabric on. And then we did big cross stitches around the outside after we had it all, all stuffed. So that was fun. We left with it 95% complete, I would say. My friend Michelle came to visit me from Canada, and so we did this together. We took the class together, and we hadn't finished our cross stitch around the outside, but we were meeting family for dinner, so we finished that up later. So, and while she was here, we also fully finished this. This was Kathy's freebie. From this year, she always does a freebie for her anniversary. And this was the freebie. So we had both stitched it. I had to stitch mine before she got here. She already had hers stitched. So I had homework for Kathy's class, and then I had homework for my friend Michelle, so we could finish some things. But she had this beautiful fabric that she brought with her, so we could put it on the back. And then we bought this, I think it was called Brick House. This chenille trim by Lady Dot Creates. And then I just had some ribbon in my stash that we used. And also the rickrack I had in my stash. So we finished that. Heart-shaped, challenging. My friend Michelle had actually purchased the finishing kit for me. So we each had a finishing kit to do. And then the biggest thing that I did, again, don't look too closely, is Michelle helped me make this bag. So it's just a tote bag. Funny story, I bought this fabric over 10 years ago when we were in Tulsa at an event, and had bought a pattern and everything I needed for it, and I cannot find that pattern for anything. So we bought another pattern when we were at the quilt shop, and so that's what we made this with. And the pattern calls for applique, but I didn't want to do any applique, I just wanted to use this fabric. And then the inside is that dark fabric with two pockets. So one is really big, kind of hard to see. So not perfect, but it's functional. And I finally used that fabric that I bought over 10 years ago. But I don't think I could have done that if she hadn't been here to help me. So those are all of my fully finished projects. I don't have any other finishes, so let's talk about WhipGo. WhipGo kind of took a back seat in June. I had I did not do any temperature stitching in June. And WIPGO, the last 2 days I've tried to catch up some, but I was trying to get all that homework done. There's another piece that you'll see as a new start here shortly that I was supposed to get done to finish with my friend Michelle, but I didn't make it. She got hers fully finished. So I'll keep working on mine. So for WIPGO, I was supposed to work on Lady of the Flag and Red Lady Pirate for my fancy ladies, and Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies and Beachcomber's Bounty for my full coverage board. I do 500 stitches on each project, or 5 hours. So if it's a really confetti heavy and I can't get to 500, then I can stop at 5 hours. So I did get to work on Lady of the Flag. So let me show you that one. I did 538 stitches. That's what it will look like when it's finished. And I'll put a picture in of what it looked like last time. And I am doing this on the Primitive Hair. I don't remember if it's called Constitution, but it's the one that has the preamble on it. So this is what I got done. I'm just working up in the flag. I placed the top of the flag so I knew that all of this would show and not be stitched over. And my plan right now is to do the green conversion. I found it on there's a Mirabilia conversion Facebook group, and I found it there because I was afraid the way it's charted with those golds and yellows wouldn't look as good on this fabric. So I'm planning to do the green. And that'll look more like the Statue of Liberty looks like. All right, and then, excuse me, my other WIPGO that I got worked on, and I haven't quite finished. I was working on it again some today to try and get my 500 stitches in. This is Quick Stitch Psyche's Butterflies. It is artwork by Josephine Wall, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth. And I did 318 stitches as of yesterday, so I'm trying to get to 500 today. So I'll put a picture in of what it looked like before. This is where it is now. So I am getting close. I have stitched 17,425 stitches out of 19,610. So that puts me at 88.86% complete. So we're getting there. So I've been working down here and over here. When I get this filled in, I'll move my Q-snap and then I'll get all these part threads stitched in. But it's close. I would love to finish it this year. We'll see. We will see. So those were the two that I got finished or almost finished for WIPGO. I'll show you the others when I talk about plans. So, where's my new start? My new start. I have so many. So I have a big tote that sits beside me where I stitch. And I have all but like 3 project bags out of it here to show you. So I have a lot to show. So this is Oops-a-Daisy. This was a free, if you did the Spring Fling, I think it was, this was the free chart that you got from that. So this is what I was supposed to have done when Michelle got here so we could fully finish it. It's going to finish up into, so there's just 4 pieces like this. So I'm almost halfway done. And this is on, oh, I've been forgetting to tell you what they're on. This is on somewhere. I have it all rolled up. Here it is. This is on, I don't know, 32 count, BCD, DNLZ, L7. I don't know. I need to get a cheat sheet for my LNS so I can tell you what those fabrics are. So that was my one new start. And then for whips, I am behind now, but I was keeping up on my Extraordinary Bird stitch along. So I'll put a picture in of what we know it's looking like so far. And I have this month I stitched 2,169 stitches. So I've stitched a total of 6,723 out of 10,637. And that's just as of right now. There's more coming. So I am caught up through 4. I think the cassowary was 4. So now we had some jumping birds here in the middle. And then we have what was he? Anyway, there's a couple others that I need to put in. So I've got 5 and 6 that I need to catch up on. There are just not enough hours in the day. I think I've about decided that next year I'll not do WIPGO, and I'll just spin for 1 full coverage and 1 Mirabilia every month, and that way I'll still make progress on them. And if I get through those and I want to spin for another one, I can, but it's been hard to keep up with everything. Nature's Journey, I just pulled this out one time and got 343 stitches on it. And this is in Cross Stitch, just Cross Stitch magazine. So we have 2 parts out so far. This kind of shows you an idea of what the whole thing will look like. This is spring. I also have the summer one is in the next magazine, and I have that, but I'm still on the spring one. And this is, I don't know if I told you, 343 stitches. So I was working, I think, on here. I started the bumblebee. So pretty. I really would like to spend more time on that. All right. Next is Woman in a Field. Oh, I forgot to show you this. Sorry, back to the class. We got these stitching mats. So Anne, the owner of Shepherd's Needle in Little Rock, that's where I am, had these mats for us. And then somebody else had made these little Ort, but that's the same fabric. So they just kind of collapse down and then they pop up. I forgot to show you that. That was part of the class. I mean, that was what Anne gave us as part of the class. Okay. This next one is Woman in a Field of Flowers. I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like, and then I'll show you alongside where I was at the beginning of the month. So this is a Stitches So Beautiful, and it's not on any of my plans except that she does a challenge, or not a contest really, but every month if you stitch at least 250 stitches a week and post it on Facebook, then you get a free chart. So she has a different chart every month that she offers free, and it's ones that haven't been published yet, and I think they'll be published in like a year. And so this, for June, it was this really pretty pansy pattern that I really wanted, and now she's shown the July one, and I think I want it too. So I may have to pull this out in July, but this is Woman in a Field of Flowers. I think this is the first one. I did 1,337 stitches this month. And so that puts me at 5,474 stitches complete out of 160,000. So that's 3.42%. So this part up here goes a little faster, and then you get down here and there's a lot of confetti with all the flowers and greenery that's down there. So I will probably stitch on this again this month in July so that I can get the next pattern. All right, and then my last whip is the Heaven and Earth Design Sal, and I only put in 452 stitches on this. So I have completed 17,560 out of 48,705 so far. So that's not all of it yet. And that puts me at 36.24%. So I've been working on this area down here. So I have 2 full pages. This is my third one. I need to have 6 pages complete by the end of the year so that I can get the rest of the stitch along patterns. And there's several that I really want. So I need to get busy on that. So I'm gonna show you my WIPGO calls we will see if I get to them. The other thing that's going to be challenging is my husband and I are going to be dog sitting in Northwest Arkansas, and so I probably won't take my stand, and I know I won't take my big light and magnifier, so I may have to really put some work on that before we go up there, because we'll be going a week. Okay, those are all my whips. So let's talk about plans. So whip go, like I said, I'm going to show them to you. We'll see if I get to them or not. So full coverage, we have, this was the one that was left over from June that I didn't get to. This is Beachcomber's Bounty, which I showed you last month, but I'll show you again. I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like. And this is where I am. So I started at Diagonal, moved to Royal Rose, and now I've pretty much gone away from Royal Rose and back to Diagonal. So I'll start working Diagonal in getting those part threads stitched in. And I didn't look to see where I was on any of these that I haven't stitched on yet. So we shall see. And then the other one from June that I didn't get to is Red Lady Pirate. This is the Fancy Lady one I didn't get to for June. That's what she will look like. And this is where I am on her. And this fabric, I think it's a Sunny Dyes. I don't remember the name, and I don't think they're dyeing anymore. So that's where she is. I've been very bad about telling you fabric. This time my full coverage, except for the Psyche's butterflies, are all 28 count. 1/1 full cross. The Psyche's butterflies, I started before that I knew about Easy Grid, before I had Pattern Keeper, probably before it was even available. And so it's 1/1 full cross on 25 count even weave. Okay, then my other, let's do the Fancy Lady since they're here first. My whip go calls for July are Fairy Autumn Glow from Nora Corbett, and this is on 32 count Beach Walk by Witchell, and I think that's the called for. So that's where I am on that one. And that beautiful skirt. And then the other Fancy Lady for July is Wherefore Art Thou, which was a mystery stitch along years ago. So I'll have to put a picture in of what it's going to look like. And this is where I will be starting with it. Beautiful colors. And I got it while it was the stitch along, the mystery stitch along, so I have the big bead that she's holding. So I was lucky enough to have that. Okay, so those are my Fancy Lady whip goes. And then the two full coverage whip go calls for July are, which one is this? This is Sea Opal. It's a Heaven and Earth, and I think it's Elizabeth Welker is the artist. And it's just, I haven't got too much done on it. And like I said, I didn't look up any of the statistics on these for where I'm starting. So that's Sea Opal. And then the other one that was called, sorry, I have to wrangle these all back in their bags or I'll have an even bigger mess when I'm done, is Riverwalk Charm. And other than Psyche's butterflies, well, I'm probably the stitch along. This is probably the one I'm farthest along on. Again, these are on, excuse me, 28 count 1/1 full cross. And I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like when it's done. This one I've done all sorts of things. I did diagonal, then I did just go wherever I want, then I did royal rose. That looks so nice. But now I'm back to diagonal, so again, we'll see if I get to any of these with go calls. I would like to, but I also need to get caught up on my bird stitch along, which that I'll probably take with me when we're out of town. Okay, then the rest of what I have to show you, let me kind of rearrange here, I'm going back to temperature stitching. I'm doing it just a little bit different. Okay, let me get this toed over where I can reach it. So before I only had 5 projects, and I would do, you know, 0, 0 and 5. I would do 0, anyway, it doesn't matter. Each project would have 2 numbers, and if it was either of those numbers, I worked on that project. Well, I decided I wanted to do a little bit of Christmas in July, so I kept the same 5 projects I had before on temperature stitching, but then I added 5 Christmas ones, so I do have 10 projects now. So each number has its own project. The other thing I'm doing is when I did temperature stitching in May, I would look at night and see what the high temperature was for that day, and then I would stitch that for that high temperature the next day. I decided that was just too much to worry about. I'm just gonna look at the beginning of the week, and whatever the forecasted high temperatures are, that's what I'm gonna go with. It doesn't really matter. It's just a way to pick projects. So if it's not the exact temperature, it's not a big deal. So these are now my 10 projects for temperature stitching for the month of July. So, and I'm gonna show them all to you, but I can tell you already what's been called this month. Hang on, let me get to that page. Okay, so this is Dressmaker's Daughter, and it's been called once for this week. This is one I would like to have done. If my friend Michelle and I are going to try and go to the Shepherd's Bush retreat next fall, and I would like to have this completed by then so that I can take it to Jill Rensel's studio. So I am working on spring. And this is where I'll be starting from. And like I said, it's been called once this week. And for my temperature stitching, I just do 100 stitches, work on it about an hour. This one I do have, I didn't take it off the Q-snap. Summer is done except for the beads, and then autumn I've started on. Got a good start on it. But I decided I wanted to do spring because when I started this temperature stitching, it was spring. Okay, that's the first one. So these ones are the same ones I had in my temperature stitching before. The next one is my Jeanette Douglas class that I took. So this is the class that we had in April, I believe it was, at my LNS. Sorry for the glare. And I'm working on this spring garden sampler. So this is where I'll be starting on it. And I don't think it was called for this week. No, it was not. So we'll see when it gets called. All right. Then next is, which one is this? Oh, this is the Seasons of the Heart. This is from Brenda Gervais. So I'm working on the summer one, which is this one. And this is where I'll be starting. And this is on, I think, Vintage Country Mocha. Again, I'm forgetting to tell you. I'm pretty sure that's Vintage Country Mocha. I need to put like a big sign in my notes that says, be sure and mention the fabric. Whoops. Let's make sure we get them back in the right bag. All right, and that one was not called. I think I told you that. That one was not called. Next is Ladybug Picnic. This is a hands-on design. So this is what it will look like when it's finished. And I am doing this on the called for, it's hand dyed by Stephanie Pomegranate. And it's getting close. Whoops. And this one did get called twice for this week. Now I don't think it'll be finished in those 2 sessions, but it might get finished this month if it gets called several times. All right, and then next is, okay. Am I missing one? What am I missing? Seems like I'm missing a non-Christmas one. Oh, Extraordinary Birds. That's the other one. I've already showed you that one. So that's my other non-Christmas temperature stitching, and it hasn't been called this week. All right, now we're into the Christmas ones for temperature stitching. This is Woodland Winter, I think it's called. I always get this backwards. Yes, Woodland Winter. This is Autumn Lane. It was a mystery stitch along earlier this year. This is on Picture This Plus Twilight, 32 count. This is where I'll be starting from. Oh, it's so pretty. That's pretty accurate on the fabric too. So that one has not been called yet. Not for this week. The next one is, this is a Robin Christmas Patchwork. It's from Historical Sampler Society. I'll have to put a picture in of what it's going to look like. Oh, it's very wrinkled. And this is where I am on it. And it came with, I don't remember if it was called Jade. It came, I got the kit, so this was the fabric that was provided. Super cute. And that one has not been called. I did have 2 Christmas ones that were called though. Yep. This one is Santa's House. This is Cottage Garden Samplings. This was their, Year of Houses or Fabulous House series. This is the only one I've started. I own them all, but that's the only one I've started. This is on 32 count, vintage, smoky, snowy, I don't know. Lagana, it's Witchelt. Anyway, this is nice. It's slightly mottled gray. So that's where I will start on that one. Hopefully that one will get called. I would love to get some more work done on it. All right. Next is a Mill Hill. This is Silent Night. And I'm not doing it on the perforated paper. I'm doing it on some fabric. Picture This Plus Pickled, 28 count. So that the beads and everything would fit. And I think all I have to do is finish the back stitching and then add all the beads. And this one was called for today, actually. I haven't gotten to it yet, but it was called for today. So hopefully I'll get a chance to stitch on it this evening. And then the last one, and this one was called once this week. This is, I don't know if I have a picture. Yes. Festive Forest. This was part of the Jingle Ball. Last year's Jingle Ball by the Blue Flower. This is a big one. I got a lot done. So this is where I'll be starting from. And I'm doing this one. She called for it on Cypress from Fiber on a Whim, but I actually picked this fabric out while she was here when I was taking the Blue Flower class last fall. And this is Valor by Picture This Plus. 32 count. She said, we were looking, and she said that one would work just fine. I think we did find the juniper, but I liked this one. I think it was had a little bit more of a greener tint to it. So I liked it. Okay, that is it. That is all my plans, whips. The only thing left, I believe, let me check my notes to make sure I haven't missed anything. Nope, acquisitions or haul. Okay, so I got a piece of fabric. This is Midnight Ride from XJU Designs. So this is, they had it's really cool. There's a Kesslin chart that they had done this on in my LNS, and several of us were like, oh, we love that. I'll try and find a picture of the chart and put it in, but they had to order the fabric for me in 32 count because I didn't want 40 count. And then I got the latest monthly mini from Country Cottage Needlework. This is August. And then I got a couple of hands-on design while she was here. Coastal Holiday. And I think most of these, if not all of them, she had to show us. Okay, I knew there was another one. This is Toes in the Sand. And then she did it on this juniper, which is also what the bee is on that she did. This is the juniper, the darker one. And my friend Michelle and I both decided we liked the darker, so I went ahead and picked up a piece of that they had ready for it. And then the other hands-on design I got was thread, white, and blue. I want to do this box. And then a heart and hand. This is red, white, and blue doodles. And then when I was looking for the new stitching things by Primrose Cottage a few weeks ago, they didn't have this one, or I didn't see it if they did. So this is the Stitchers Trio. That's fun. And then I decided to get this one to maybe put up in the room at our house that our grandkids would stay in when they stay here. This is Baby Animals by the Blue Flower. Isn't that fun? I thought that would look really cute in a kid's room. And then I got, I need another pair of scissors, but these were just too cute. And they had this cute fob on them, which is actually a flag on the other side. It got kind of turned. Let me just pull them out. So it's a little wooden, and then it's just some scissor fob and some red scissors. I should probably be using those right now. And then I got some Lady Dot Creates trim. I bought some fabric to make a project bag. I'll have to show that to you another time. And then I got on the list with Crazy Annie's to get the Tiny Modernist 6-part snow globe series, and the first one came yesterday. Isn't that penguin cute? All right, that is it. I should be back the 1st of August so I can show you how much of all of this I got stitched on. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next month. Bye.